Hello guys, welcome back to an Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to implement the enhanced input system for first person character movement. So I'm going to show you guys how to do the movement for first person and also the camera movement. So yeah, let's get right into it. So first of all, what we got to do is we got to go in our player blueprint folder, and we want to create a new folder in there. We'll call it input, and open up that folder. Inside of it, we're going to right click over here, go to input and create input mapping context. This is going to house all of our inputs for our player. So I'm going to name it IMC underscore player input. And once you got that done, just make sure you highlighted it in blue and Control S to save. Now we want to create our actual actions. So I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to name it actions. I'm going to open up that folder. And once I open it up, I'm gonna right click, go to input, and I'm gonna select here input action. I'm gonna name this IA underscore camera movement, and Control S. I'm just gonna Control C, Control V to copy it, and I'm gonna name this one IA underscore player movement. All right. So first thing we gotta do is we gotta open these up. So I'm gonna open the camera movement. I'm gonna dock it up here. And I'm gonna make sure that the visual type is put on axis 2D, vector 2D, and I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna make sure I do that for the player movement as well. And that's all we gotta do for setting that up. Next, we gotta go to our mapping context. We gotta open it up and actually map these inputs in here. So we want to add a new input. We want to select the input action camera movement, and for camera movement, we want the mouse XY axis 2D. This is the one we want to use here, and I'm gonna add a modifier and I'm gonna put it as negate and save. And that's it for the camera input. Now let's add a new mapping and let's put this one as player movement. And in player movement, we're gonna have W, we're gonna have A, S, and D. These are gonna be our inputs for moving. And basically what we got to do is in our W, we want to add a modifier. We want to put this as swizzle input axis values, and we also actually no, that's it for that one. We just want to put swizzle input axis values. For S, we want to put negate, so negate, and we want to put swizzle input axis values. And for D, we're gonna leave it alone. For A, we're gonna put negates. So basically, the reason we're doing this is normally in default, all your input actions, so your W, A, S, and D, is going to go on the X axis, and we have a X and a Y axis. So basically what we're doing here by doing the swizzle input axis, we're basically changing the input from the X to the Y. So basically we're taking our W and S keys and we're putting them on the Y axis, and our A and D keys, keeping them default to the X axis so we can know what the player is inputting. These negates are there because if we're moving forward, let's say W, it's going to be 1, so the value is going to be 1. And if we're moving in S, or yeah, in S is going to be negate, so it's going to be -1. So that's how we know we're moving back. And that's the same thing with A and D. So once you got that done, we can go to our player blueprint and let's get the code set up in there. To set up our camera movement, we want to search for IA underscore camera movement. This is going to be very simple. On the triggered, we're going to add controller pitch input, and we're also going to add controller yaw input right there. And what we want to do is get the action value, break it, and while we broke the action value, we want to select our X input. We want to multiply it by -1, so basically we're negating it, and we're going to put it into our value. And also our Y is going to go into here. So your Y is going to go to your pitch, and your X is going to go into your yaw. And that's how you set up the mouse input. So if we go into here, play, look around, our mouse is working just fine. Our movement is perfect. So yeah, let's get set up on that character movement. Now that we got the mouse input set up, let's get the character movement. So IA underscore player movement. We want to break the action value so we can get our X and Y inputs, and we want to add input or movement input nodes. So we're gonna Control C, Control V to get 2 of those. Our X is going to go into here for the scale, and our Y is going to go into here for the scale. I'm going to move these a little bit to the right. For the world direction of moving left to right, we want to get the camera's right vector. So once we got that, plug that into the world direction. And for moving forward and back, we want to get the capsule components forward vector. Okay, there we go. And we're going to put that in the return value. And now we should have our character movement fully set up. As you can see, we can move around, we can look around, and everything is working just fine. Now, you might be wondering why we didn't use the forward vector of the camera. Well, if we do, and disconnect this, put the camera in here, what's going to happen is, you can see it's working just like how we had it before. But if we look down and try to move, we won't move at all. It'll be very slow, and it's just not typically good to use. This is happening because if we go to the viewport, have our camera rotated down like how we were looking down, the forward vector of the camera is going to be looking down here, and that's not going to be moving us any forward. It's going to be moving us down. So that's why we don't do that. And yeah, so let's just delete this camera right here and put in our capsule component. And that should be it for your enhanced input system. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more content. And also, I would love for you guys to go in the comments and give us some ideas for future tutorials that you would like to see. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.